We are honored to welcome today's distinguished guest, the Ambassador of the Republic of the Marshall Islands to the Republic of China, Taiwan, Anjanette Kattil.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this afternoon, and thank you for inviting me to be on your show this afternoon. It is a great pleasure for me to join you this afternoon and to be able to speak to you a little bit about the Marshall Islands and about the special relationship between the Republic of the Marshall Islands and the Republic of China, Taiwan.
The Republic of the Marshall Islands serves as a vital maritime hub in the Pacific Ocean. The Marshall Islands has long been a steadfast partner of Taiwan, with Her Excellency President Hilda Heine notably reaffirming during the UN General Assembly debate the misinterpretation of UN Resolution 2758 and advocating for Taiwan's rightful participation in the United Nations. Ambassador, could you kindly provide our audience with a brief introduction to the Marshall Islands? How does the Marshall Islands distinguish itself among its Pacific neighbors?
Thank you. Thank you for that excellent question. And to give you a brief introduction of the Marshall Islands is located in the Central Pacific. We are part of Micronesia in the Pacific. The Marshall Islands comprises of 29 coral atolls, 5 main islands, and over 1,000 islets. We are an independent nation with compact of free association with the United States, one of only 3 countries in the Pacific with this type of arrangement with the United States of America. So I think this distinguishes us from other countries in the Pacific. The Marshall Islands is a matrilineal society where clanship, land ownership is passed down through the mother. Land ownership and tenureship in the Marshall Islands defines social hierarchy in a system which involves chiefs, landowners, and villagers. So clanship, family relationships, friendliness, cooperation, and hospitalities are some values that are of very great importance to the Marshallese people.
Ambassador Kattil, in an op-ed for the Taipei Times, you emphasized the Marshall Islands' appreciation for Taiwan's 29 years of partnership and contributions to the Pacific Islands Forum, particularly in prioritizing the needs of smaller island states. However, Taiwan faces increasing challenges in the Pacific region due to growing Chinese economic pressure, which has led former allies like the Solomon Islands and Nauru to switch recognition to Beijing. How does the Marshall Islands counter these diplomatic and economic pressures to maintain ties with Taiwan? And how does the Marshall Islands continue to support Taiwan in the Pacific region?
The Republic of the Marshall Islands and the Republic of China, Taiwan, we share rich traditions and glorious cultures that can be dated back thousands of years, linked to our Austronesian heritage. The relationship between our 2 countries was established 26 years ago in November of 1998. Over the years, we've cooperated in many areas, important areas such as education, health, women empowerment, agriculture, environment and climate change, culture, and people-to-people exchanges. And as my president alluded to, President Hilda Heine, during President Lai's visit, we will continue to work closely with Taiwan in these areas. These areas are very important, of critical importance to our development aspirations, as well as to the overall achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Of course, we also hope to work closely with Taiwan and other countries in the region to promote our values of democracy, as well as peace and prosperity and security in the Pacific and in this region and throughout the Indo-Pacific region. The Republic of the Marshall Islands, we value Taiwan's contribution to the region, and as a member of the Forum Secretariat, we will continue to advocate for Taiwan's inclusion in the region and its continued contribution to the region.
In December, President Lai led a delegation to visit the Marshall Islands. The theme of the President Lai's visit, Smart and Sustainable Development for Prosperous Austronesian Region, focused on three key objectives: smart sustainability, sustainable democracy, and sustainable diplomatic ties. So how do you perceive President Lai's visit to the Marshall Islands?
President Lai's visit was much anticipated and extremely welcomed by everyone in the Marshall Islands. We were extremely honored that our humble shores was the first country that President Lai visited since assuming the presidency. President Lai's visit signifies the importance with which Taiwan attaches to its relationship with the Marshall Islands. So his visit was very much welcomed and very much appreciated, and I think it spoke volumes about the special and unique relationship between our two countries.
Ambassador, considering President Lai's focus on Taiwan's Pacific allies for his first official visit, how do you envision the future of relations between Taiwan and the Marshall Islands?
As I mentioned, our two countries share strong relations, and over the 26 years that has continued to be strengthened by our shared values of democracy, rule of law, human rights, and I envision that we will continue to cooperate closely as bilateral partners, as partners in this region, and of course the Marshall Islands will continue to be a strong advocate for Taiwan in the international arena.
According to our data, that you treat Taiwan as your second home. Can you tell us why?
Yes, well, as you know, my being here now as ambassador is my second term in Taiwan. I previously served in Taiwan in 2016 to 2019 as the Deputy Chief of Mission. Prior to that, I was the Assistant Secretary for our Bureau of Bilateral Affairs for many years in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And the Bureau of Bilateral Affairs oversees our relationship with Taiwan. So through my work and over the years of living here and engaging with the people here, I've grown to love the country and I've grown to love the people. So that's why I consider this my second home.
And we know that Taiwan is like multicultural society. And what impressed you the most?
The fact that Taiwan is somewhat of a melting pot is also is something that really spoke out strongly to me. The Taiwanese people are hospitable and warm and friendly, just like the Marshallese people. So it really resonated with me as a Marshallese, and I cannot help but feel like I'm at home when I'm here and I'm engaging with the people of Taiwan. So I do not feel like I'm in a foreign country. I feel like I'm in the Marshall Islands, second home, yeah, and amongst island people and Marshallese people almost. But the people of Taiwan have been kind. The government, the work here has been very rewarding. And it's been very rewarding for me personally to see the growth in the relationship between the two countries.
Ambassador, during his visit, President Lai announced Taiwan's plans to support the construction of a pig slaughterhouse to enhance food security and provide a preferential loan for Air Marshall Islands to upgrade its fleet. From the Marshallese government's perspective, how is Taiwan's aid and assistance perceived, and does it effectively address the needs of the Marshallese people?
In short, yes. To answer your question, it does effectively address the needs of the Marshallese people. The support and the tremendous assistance from Taiwan continues to improve the well-being of the Marshallese people, and it's something that we wholeheartedly appreciate. Taiwan, through its partnership with the Marshall Islands and other countries, continues to demonstrate its willingness and its ability to help and to contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals.
The Marshall Islands faces severe challenges from climate change. So, Ambassador, could you elaborate on the anxiety and concerns of the Marshallese regarding climate change?
Okay. The Marshall Islands is a low-lying nation, and as a low-lying nation, we're very vulnerable, extremely vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. As a low-lying atoll, as you know, we have no higher ground, and sea level rise continues to threaten our way of life. Our survivability is at risk. Climate change continues to pose an existential threat to our islands and our way of life and our cultures and our traditions. So we have had no choice but to work very hard to garner international awareness on the impacts of climate change to countries like mine. And as President Heine alluded to, we continue to live through the impacts of climate change, but we are also mindful of the impacts that climate change poses on countries like Taiwan. We have had to we lived through prolonged drought, flooding, and in food insecurity, and we are also aware of Taiwan's challenges with unprecedented typhoons and other extreme weather events. And President Heine, during President Lai's visit, reiterated that we are in this together and we need to stand shoulder to shoulder with other maritime nations as well as other countries to ensure that our children and our grandchildren can continue to have a place to call home. So we welcome and we commend Taiwan's endeavors to combat climate change. And we will continue to advocate for Taiwan's inclusion in the UNFCCC process, as President Heine did at the recent COP in Azerbaijan. Because with climate change, everyone has to play a part, including Taiwan.
We know that in 2023, Taiwan and the Marshall Islands signed a Memorandum of Understanding regarding the Adaptation and Contingency Fund for Climate Change to mark 25 years of diplomatic relations. Ambassador Kattil, could you explain the significance of Taiwan-Marshall Islands cooperation for climate resilience? How does the Marshallese government view the partnership so far, and what future measures could strengthen this collaboration?
Well, the relationship is strong, and the partnership with Taiwan to combat climate change has been very much important. Very important. Sorry, we'll have to edit that. Taiwan has contributed to our adaptation measures. Recently, we had launched our National Adaptation Plan. The National Adaptation Plan, we call it our Survivability Plan. And the NAP, as we call it, lays out short-term to long-term measures, adaptation measures that we need to take to ensure that we can continue to live on our islands as long as we can. And the support from Taiwan has been meaningful towards our efforts to adapt and mitigate the impacts of climate change. And I envision we will continue to work closely with Taiwan in this, because we have a long way to go to ensure that we do not want to leave our islands, and we want to continue to live on our islands as long as we can. So the support that Taiwan has given to us continues to provide us that helps us to adapt and mitigate the impacts of climate change has been very crucial and important.
I just wondered, how do the Marshallese people to perceive the issue of climate change, and is there any special way to adapt their thoughts or their concerns or anxieties in traditional way?
Well, in traditional ways, traditionally we have to draw back to the wisdom of our ancestors. What is it that they did right that they were able to survive living in the islands for millennia? That is important. And what we have realized is that we do not want to lose our culture and our traditions, because that's what sets us apart from the rest of the world. And in developing our NAP, we had consultations not just with government and experts, but we had also had consultations at the grassroots level with the landowners, with the chiefs, with the people in the villages. So our adaptation measures are also tailored to our culture and traditions. And so that's very important to us. We have made it a point that we do not want to leave our islands. So we will do whatever we can. And we will continue to lead this fight. And we that is the message that we want to send to the international community, is to help save our islands and do your part.
Ambassador, at the end of 2018, the agreement for cooperation on Austronesian people's cultural affairs was approved by the Executive Yuan, marking the first bilateral cooperative agreements between Taiwan's Council of Indigenous Peoples and a Pacific ally. Based on the agreements, in what areas do the indigenous peoples of Taiwan collaborate with the people of the Marshall Islands? And especially, how do these cultural exchanges between the Council of Indigenous Peoples and the Embassy of the Marshall Islands contribute to fostering mutual understanding and collaboration?
Good. Thank you. Thank you. That is a very good question. Being a country that deeply values its culture and its tradition, we also appreciate the cultural heritage that we share with the people of Taiwan. And we are committed to working closely with the Council of Indigenous People and the government of Taiwan in the promotion and preservation of our culture and our traditions and, of course, our languages. Through the MOU, we've embarked to work closely together in that area to promote and preserve our Austronesian heritage. We continue to collaborate closely. Most recently, we worked closely with the CIP to launch the exhibit. It's an Austronesian Marshallese art and cultural exhibit that showcases the similarities in culture and language through art. So these are some of the initiatives that we continue to work closely on. I believe the people-to-people and cultural exchanges really do foster understanding and mutual understanding and friendship, and are crucial to promoting strengthened bilateral relationship.
Ambassador, why is it essential to strengthen the bonds between the Marshallese and the indigenous peoples of Taiwan?
I think it's important to do that because, through understanding of our values, of culture, our traditional values and our practices, languages, I think it really strengthens the bond, because these heart-to-heart exchanges, although we don't speak the same language, we speak to each other heart-to-heart. I think I mentioned it, and I think that's something that really deepens the relationship. We value Taiwan as not just friends, but kin, as family members, an extension of our family in Taiwan and the region. And I think this is very important to highlight, because it really makes this relationship all the more special.
And I think it's really beautiful. It's people to people and heart to heart.
Yeah, heart to heart, people to people, and it's beyond politics. Yeah. Yes.
As you just mentioned, on November 20th, Taiwan and the Marshall Islands celebrated the 26th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. To mark this significant milestone, the embassy, in collaboration with Taiwan's Council of Indigenous Peoples, launched the Island as Vessel, Ocean as Path, a journey and a dialogue of Austronesian culture and art exhibition. Ambassador Kattil, could you explain what is displayed at this exhibition and what are its objectives?
Yes, to commemorate the 26th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the Republic of the Marshall Islands and the Republic of China, Taiwan, on the 20th of November, the embassy, in partnership with the Council of Indigenous People, we launched the Islands as Ships, Seas as Roads, a journey and dialogue of Austronesian culture through art and exhibition. And it was my hope that through this exhibition we can highlight the beautiful Austronesian heritage that we share through culture, through art and culture. And it is my hope that when people come and see this exhibition, they can appreciate the special connection that exists between the indigenous people of Taiwan and the Marshallese people.
So can you introduce the characteristics of the artifact of Marshallese?
So the exhibition showcases artwork done by Marshallese through photography, through painting. It also showcases artwork from indigenous people of Taiwan, carving, also painting and photography. And I think it beautifully displays the similarities that we see through our hearts and the culture that we share, it is beautifully displayed through these artwork that are at this exhibit.
Ambassador, as we know that Taiwan and the Marshall Islands have notably established several sister city relationships to strengthen diplomatic and cultural ties, with notable partnerships between Taipei and Majuro, New Taipei City and Jialui's Atoll, Tainan and Wuzhe Atoll, and Taoyuan City and our Atoll. Among Taiwan's diplomatic allies, the Marshall Islands has the most extensive sister city affiliations with Taiwan. Ambassador, what is the importance of these sister cities initiatives?
I think these sister city initiatives and relationships are crucial to promoting strengthened relations through mutual respect, cooperation, and understanding. I think they play a critical role in introducing each other's country to each other, and we hope to continue to work closely with the local governments and the respective mayors and magistrates to establish these kinds of connections at the grassroots level. As I mentioned, I think these heart-to-heart exchanges, these people-to-people exchanges, be it cultural, educational, or technological, serve a greater purpose in promoting understanding and in strengthening the relationship between the Republic of the Marshall Islands and the Republic of China, Taiwan.
Can you tell us more about what their exchanges are, like cultural or?
Mostly cultural. We hope to expand to include trade and tourism, educational exchanges, and of course, local government support through sharing of experiences and looking at what some of the policies have been established by the respective local governments and maybe best practices, learn from each other. I think those have been some of the focus and some of the areas that we hope to expand on.
Really looking forward for the future collaboration.
Yes, and I hope in the future that we can continue to forge similar relationship with other cities and counties here in Taiwan.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kattil, for accepting today's interview.
Kumudada, thank you, Ambassador. And let's take a short break. And for more stories from ITA See the World, please stay tuned.